this week in wrestling history. Jared, as we record this on a Monday night, it is happy birthday to the HB Shizzle, Shawn Michaels. His birthday, July the 22nd, 59 years of age. And man, like I said, I'm wearing the shirt. We got to talk about him. I mean, look at this graphic that's on our YouTube channel if you're not watching. A 3-time world champion, 1-time world heavyweight champion, 2-time Rumble winner, 5 times he's main evented WrestleMania. He's a 2-time Hall of Famer, Grand Slam champion. Oh, and there's a little nugget down here in the bottom that says he's better than Bret Hart, which I completely agree with. But man, so many great memories.
I mean, he did make Bret Hart tap out.
He did. Earl Hebner, the greatest referee of all time, rang the bell. It happened.
Yes. Yep, Earl could not have got it wrong. So,
no,
I mean,
absolutely. Hey, I admit, listen, that's it. But so many memories of Shawn Michaels. I know that so many that you have as well, but when the name Shawn Michaels comes up, what's the first thing you think of?
Best of all time, man. I know a lot of people think Ric Flair, but I think it's Shawn. Yep. I mean, he did it all back in a time when people didn't get to do it all, especially people his size.
Yep.
Did not get to do it all. He broke down the walls. He started a lot of what I think we see today, all the big flashy moves, the moonsaults, all the flippity-floppity actions. Shawn Michaels, man, he was one of the first ones to do it.
I mean, and the super kick is just a move that gets hit all the time right now, but it used to be so devastating. No, you got to tune up the band. I think that's the thing, Jared. I think tuning up the band is the issue with some sweet
missing ingredient.
It is. That's what it is. And we've talked on this show all the time about how we've grown up watching wrestling. Jared and I grew up together watching wrestling. We used to wrestle each other all the time. Jared's probably gotten several Sweet Chin musics to the chin. A few. But man,
that connected harder than they should have.
Well, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, but all that to say, man, I'm like you, man, that nobody can convince me otherwise that Shawn Michaels is not the greatest of all time. I mean, match of the year, however many years it's been. And that's not just his first run. You look at his second run and all the stuff he did with Taker and with Jericho, and even wrestling Vince and Shane with his tag team partner, God. I mean, it went from crazy to incredible. He hit the gamut, reuniting DX and the whole 9 yards. But we had to pay tribute to the Heartbreak Kid on his birthday. Just one of the most tremendous performers. I don't think anybody can argue with that. But again, like you said, people will argue Ric Flair, but it's Shawn Michaels number one.
Yep, I agree 100%.
All right. So from Shawn, we got to hit a couple other old school things that happened this week in wrestling. As you're looking on your screen right now, the second heel turn in 2011 that happened at the Invasion pay-per-view, July 21st, 2001, the Alliance, WCW and ECW against the WWF. What a dream match we saw on that show with RVD and Jeff Hardy. We mentioned Earl Hebner earlier. He wrestled Nick Patrick on that pay-per-view. That's one we want to forget. But again, Stone Cold turning. Now, we're not going to talk about the invasion that could have been, because everybody has talked ad nauseum about how, oh man, it would have been great to have Austin. It would have been great to have Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan and Sting, blah, 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 whatever. It would have been great to have those guys, yes. But if we're putting our fantasy booking hat on, yeah, it would have been great to have them. But Jared, what matches would you have put them in? Like, I know everybody talks Undertaker and Sting. That's the first one that you go to. But me personally, like, that was Biker Taker in 2001. So if I'm looking at the WWF roster and I'm looking at the end of WCW roster, I want the Undertaker to face a guy like Goldberg. Like, I know,
that was exactly what I was going to say.
Like, I know they wrestled in Saudi and Taker almost died, but like 20 years before that, man, what a match that would have been.
I wanted so bad, man, to see Taker tombstone Goldberg. And I don't think he did during that match, did he?
No, he did not. They went home early. He choke slammed him, and that was that.
Right, because of their age, I'm sure. Which I
Yes.
mean, Goldberg was never great to begin with,
Right.
but at that time, neither one of them could really perform like they used to. But back then, man, Biker Taker against Goldberg, or even Dead Man Taker, if you could have waited a little bit, I would have liked to have seen Dead Man Taker against Goldberg.
Yeah.
But who would you have Sting against?
That's what I was
We're
going.
not going to have him against Taker.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you, man, because Shawn's not in the picture. He's not back yet because this is the year before he returns. So that's the obvious dream match. You throw that one out the window. One that I thought of, man, was Chris Jericho. I mean, we never saw like really good Chris Jericho against really good Sting. We saw it a little bit in AEW, but that doesn't count.
Yeah. I was thinking that either was Benoit still in the company? Or was
Angle
in the company?
Yeah. Angle and Benoit. Yeah, they were.
Either one of those two, man. I mean, it first came to mind Angle, and then I started thinking, you had Benoit there too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think either one of those would have been pretty awesome.
Sting and Benoit would have been really interesting. Who would you have put The Rock up against?
I almost would have liked to have seen outsider Scott Hall against The Rock.
Yeah, like really good in shape and in clear mind Scott Hall. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the obvious one that we didn't ever get is Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan. Like we never got that
Austin
one.
And Hogan.
That one would have been interesting to get, I think.
Yes. I'm trying to think of who else would have been good to go up against Austin.
I mean, Scott Steiner would have been kind of fun. He was a loose cannon back then.
That would have been cool. That would have been good promos.
Yeah, that would have been really good. And you got Kevin Nash. That could have been all right. DDP. I mean, just depends. DDP was kind of on the back half there.
DDP against Austin, because then you'd have the Stunner versus the Diamond Cutters. That'd be pretty cool.
That's true. Lots of different ways you could go with that, man. Lots of different matches they could have had that we'll never, ever get, which is, I mean, of course, we got the Angle and Sting match, but that was in TNA. And like I mentioned, we got Sting and Jericho a little bit in AEW. Goldberg and Taker we want to forget about. But that was in 2001. Let's fast forward to present day 2024. We know there's an invasion angle going on right now, a little bit of talent trading between NXT and TNA, but let's put those companies aside and let's go for the big boys. WWE against AEW. If there was some sort of invasion that happened between those two companies, what's your headlining match, man? What are you looking forward to the most?
Man, I think it would be... As far as big names, you could have Dean Ambrose against Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be kind of cool. I'm not really sure if you would call him John Moxley or Dean Ambrose if you had that situation.
Right.
But I would love to see like a current day modern John Moxley against either Roman Reigns or against Seth Rollins for that matter. You could have Seth Rollins against Will Ospreay. My God.
Yeah.
I mean, that would tear the house down.
I had John Moxley against Gunther because I feel like those dudes would just beat the snot out of each other, man.
Slobber knocker.
You got it.
For sure.
I think that would be good. I actually didn't have a match for Roman. I was still thinking about that. I think we saw
Kenny
this.
Omega.
Kenny Omega, there you go. That's it. That's the other dream match for him. We saw this match once on Monday Night Raw back in, I think it was 2019, but I'd like to see an updated version. Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole.
That would be good.
I think that would be.
Agree.
I think that would be incredible. We talked about a promo war earlier. How about MJF versus LA Knight?
Yeah. I agree, man.
Put those two guys promoing against each other. And then my main event, if I had to pick a main event, it would be Cody Rhodes versus Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge.
See, I was thinking you could even do like an Adam Cole match versus like Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cody Rhodes against Edge. Okay. So you could do Cody Rhodes against John Moxley. You can do Cody Rhodes against Kenny Omega again. In an updated version.
That's right. If you have to put I think the obvious match for the Young Bucks is the Usos. I mean, those two. If it were me booking it and I'm booking the chaos that would be that match, I'm also throwing in FTR and I'm also throwing in Gargano and Ciampa in a 4-way tag team ladder match. Just go all out.
Wow. Who would you have Jacob Fatu against?
Ooh.
I mean, he's brand new to the scene. Nobody really thinks about him, but right now, if there was an invasion, he could be a big part of it.
I mean, the first guy, it's not a top guy. First guy that came to mind was Wardlow. I think that would be really good.
Being good.
Man, who would I put him against? I mean,
think of somebody else who's like big and jacked or something, or a tough guy.
But I mean, you could do Jacob Fatu and Hangman.
That'd be good.
That could be interesting. Or the AEW champion Swerve Strickland against Jacob Fatu. That could be interesting.
Yep.
Lots of
some good matches, man.
Lots of different ways you could go with that. Of course, we're probably never ever going to see that, but there's that. But we can fantasy book it all day long.